I about that in 2014 or 15, I think it was. It was a so-called Terra.
To be used, but one of them I'm sure is that anyone that is in the know can sit, for instance, in the Bahamas with a big cigar. He just goes through.
Go back to here.
Also, the dear guy from World Economic Forum, these type of Dr. Evil, where's the white cat? These type of individuals that are just saying, we will take over everything and you will own nothing and you will be happy. What? Anyway, that is what they're saying. That is what they're planning to do. That the plan is moving forward. So how can they do it without us saying absolutely no way? They need distractions. They need to distract us. That is it. So the key in all of these operations is distraction. Look the other way. Boom, over there. Look over there. Look over there. So here suddenly, I mean, after ISIS and all of these terror groups, alleged terror groups, they've had a really nice, well-earned holiday for a couple of years, and now it's time to get back to work because, come on, you can't be lazy.
Rest forever, huh?
You can't rest forever. So what I want to tell you is that over the years also, I found some really weird things going on. One of them is that they're using color codes, because this is a small group of people in the know, and they have color codes, I think, as a silent communication system where they can communicate with each other wherever they are around the world, so that there are no phone calls that can be tapped, there are no emails that can be traced or anything like that. So how do they do it? It goes under the name at the moment under George Soros Purple Revolution. That's one of the names. The color purple right now is super important, especially when it comes to the US, and the color magenta is very important when it comes to European countries, other countries. So it's these two colors, and these color codes have been used by CIA and many intelligence agencies for years. So you had, for instance, and also in media, you had the Green Revolution in the North African countries, where these green revolutions that was totally controlled by these agencies took over the power of several countries there. You had the pink revolution in Georgia, you had the yellow one in Ukraine, you had these, but the color codes now for the last at least 3-4 years have been purple in the US and magenta in Europe or other places. And the way it shows is that in the photos, when you read an article or something like that, it won't be in the top, but a little down, you start seeing there will be something like it will always be in the center of the image. It will be some very strong purple. It can be the hair on somebody, one of the persons being interviewed, super purple. It can be the background, super purple. It can be a balloon on a grave. It can be a flower on a grave. It can be, these photos are absolutely staged to show the color. Also, you will see that when a political party is taken over in one of these countries or whatever, they will change the color. They could have been like blue forever. The logos are blue. Suddenly, they're purple. Radio stations, suddenly their logo is purple. This and that, suddenly this is purple. It changed and changed, so you can start seeing it. And I believe that this is I'm not sure. I'm only observing it, so I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a lot more reason for these colors to be used, but one of them, I'm sure, is that anyone that is in the know can sit, for instance, in the Bahamas with a big cigar. He just goes through the paper and check it out. Okay, but purple. Okay, it's ours. I was a bit unsure, but now I see it's ours. That one, yeah, this. And so also you got the news anchors and the people reading the news. When the days that they pump out really crap that they're not even aware of themselves because they're only reading the teleprompters, but when it's one of their operations, very often they will have a magenta or a deep purple top on if it's a woman, or a purple tie.
Well,
So
it's so amazing because everything is symbolism, right? And they always use color codes and numerology, numbers, and
yeah,
gematria because it's always
yeah.
happening on certain days, certain numbers tying in together, and when you add it up, it's something that ties into the Kabbalah or the well, gematria, basically.
It's very true what you're saying. Sometimes I think some researchers take it over the top, because I mean, you with gematria, you can find connections to anything. I mean, if you take a pineapple or pineapple, PINE, that means like 666 or whatever. You know, you can, or it means 972. If you put that together times three, it's like 711. It's like sometimes I feel it's like too much, but yes, for sure, the dates are very important. Many times it is connected to death. It might be like Cotton, for instance, was on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, which people think that is a romantic day. No, it was William Shakespeare that made it into a romantic thing. It is actually the beheading of, I think there were three different people called Valentine that was beheaded on that date.
And
So
what you're mentioning, I just want to remind the viewers because we did a show, you and I, about that in 2014 or 15, I think it was. It was a so-called terror attack in Denmark, which of course it really wasn't. But you explain all of that in that show. It's just to tell people that was something that also happened in Denmark, and we haven't had anything like that since then in 2015. And yeah, you can go on.
And also, Lucas, that was I was on location. If you remember, I came to Denmark right after it happened, because I had also predicted it 1 month before that it was going to go down. I thought it was the 14th of January. I pointed it out on international radio and some really big shows, saying this is going to be very close to Nørreport station, within a few hundred meters from there, on the day, in the evening, and so on. And I believe that maybe it was because it got exposed in big time like that. And also people, I know that quite a few people in Denmark went to that place with cameras standing waiting to see if anything was going to happen. So I think maybe they postponed it because it was like it would be too obvious. And then they waited exactly 1 month, and boom, on the 14th of February instead, they went live with the exact thing in Kutun and outside of the synagogue.
Yeah, but basically on that day when you predicted it, that was when that thing happened. The terror attack happened in Paris.
He says he's been following them and noticing it's always the same people. I call that the Crisis Actor Guild. The Crisis Acting Guild. And the color. The Little Boy Blue Evil Paint selection.
With that venue there, Charlie Hebdo, wasn't it?
No, it was that was on the 9th of January. That was on the 9th of January. It was going to go, if I was correct, it was 5 days later, they were going to hit Copenhagen, then they were going to hit Florence in Italy. So that got delayed because of this whole thing. But you had the same key people, and I'm going to bring up Lars Vilks, who is an artist. I think he was an absolute asset, who has been a key person in some psychological operations over the years, getting this whole anti-Islam thing going, pointing towards, freedom of speech, meaning that you can say whatever, and being really horrible to people from other countries, but it would be protected. It's a theme that has been spread all over the world, used by these agencies, and where he was one of the key players. He is now officially dead through an accident in Sweden that I'm going to come into. I believe it about 0% that was an accident. But anyway, Lars Vilks was connected to Charlie Hebdo. He was in Kutun that day. He was the guy they said was the target for this alleged attack. And then after that, he's been like central over and over. They keep bringing him up again, or they have, and he had like 24/7 bodyguard protection for like 17 years because he made a drawing, a really ugly drawing of Muhammad. They say that it looks like a dog. It's like a scribble. It's not even a drawing. It's like the whole thing is just not well, whatever. But anyway, so I would very much like, I prepared a PowerPoint, so if we could do that, I share screen and then I just take you on a trip down memory lane and just go through and show this is what happened the last, it's not even it's 6-7 months, something like that. It's very short time after the Corona thing started to fall apart. They couldn't keep people in the grip of panic anymore. They needed distraction, and in on stage came these things when it started saying boom, boom, boom again. And
also, of course, the Ukrainian war. Let's not forget that. But that's a whole other topic, of course. We would love to see your PowerPoint here, and your presentation is going to be so interesting, tying in all of the latest with the old stuff and what happened in the past. So take it away, Ole.
Can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen, yes.
So there's a film called Trains, Planes and Automobiles. I call this Shoes, Bikes and Baby Carts. It's a similar thing. So anyway, I just want to say also, it's unbelievable. The censorship that is going on right now, it's unbelievable. And so people say, where are you? Have you stopped? Have you chickened out? I'm not at all, not at all. It's just I'm being deleted for more or less everything. Even on Patreon, where we were supposed to be safe, they said that I was contacted by Patreon. They canceled my account. They said, if you don't take away things from your website, not from the Patreon platform, but from your website, we will have to delete your account.
Really? Did they say that? I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, we know about the censorship. We are under that same attack as well, and everybody else. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. It's right in your face. People don't wake up to understand what we are going through. All of us who's trying to spread the truth around in order to wake people up. I mean, this is extraordinary. But I'm very sorry to hear that they went that far, Ole.
Yeah, and it was because that I did a recorded testimonial, a 4-hour testimonial to the Corona Investigative Committee. Boom. They said you had to delete that, otherwise we will shut down you. So that shows you, I mean, this is like an international group of international high-level lawyers that are putting together a legal case, and that's the one they want to shut down. So anyway. So I also want to say that I'm not saying these things lightly, but I have up to date been able to predict 64 of these alleged terror attacks on mass shooting up to 2 months before they happened. Now my last name has become a verb, not from me, but it's become sort of like a thing. So hashtag Dammegarding or hashtag Dammegard is to find these clues, because I have been informed, and this is also how I managed to predict Kutun, which was the first one I nailed. It was the first time I really started becoming aware of that this was actually what they were doing, because I was in contact by an insider who said, you're doing good, but you're missing out on the hidden clues. And I was like, what hidden clues? I mean, who would be stupid enough to leave something like that in the evidence, in the forensic evidence? And he said, it's because of the law of karma. These people who carry these things out are doing a lot of that, and they are very aware of this universal law that is very real according to them. What you do comes back to you. So the way they interpret that law, according to this person, is that if they show us what they're going to do, even in subtle ways, and we don't react, then indirectly we consent, and then the bad karma's on our shoulders, not theirs. So it's in their selfish needs to show us. They do it not because they're kind, not because they're sloppy. They do it because they want to get out of the grip of this law of karma. So this is, after I understood that that is actually what is happening, as soon as something happens, I look for the clues. I know that they're somewhere. If it's their operation, I know that it is there sometimes or somewhere. So this is also what I'm going to point out here, because the clues are there. They're right in your face very often. So over the years also, just as a starter, I found out that I encountered, like, there was shoes everywhere, shoes, and shoes. Whatever thing that was connected to death, there was a photo of a shoe. On crime scenes, on murder scenes, on whatever, the photos were of shoes, and the photos were more or less always taken by photographers from Associated Press, Reuters, or Getty Images. And I mean, it's Rothschild, and the elite. These are the things. So I got, quite interested in these shoes. Why are there shoes that don't make any sense? And then over the years, I started finding out that ever since the alleged Holocaust, we have been connecting shoes with death. We go to an alleged concentration camp. They said, look here, there's a pile of shoes over here. That is proof that 1 million people died. I would say, as a forensic, examiner, I would say when you really look at it, the proof is that there's a pile of shoes over there. It shows nothing else. But it could be that it's because a lot of people that's a different one. But it shows nothing. It's proof of absolutely nothing. But the shoes have been used at least since the Second World War and onwards, connected to death. And so I started looking. For instance, here's the Dayton, Ohio mass shooting. They say that a lot of people got killed on this parking lot, and this is the proof. I'm like, proof of what? Was it a shoemaker that died, or what is happening here? How? I ask you, how did this happen? These shoes, if people were killed there, were they shot out of their shoes? Was there sort of like a bomb that exploded and they vaporized, and the only thing that was left was shoes? Why are they not stains? Why are they not the blood? Why are they not what is that? It's not one image from this shooting. It's all over. There's so many of this like that.
That's so remarkable with all of those shoes there. I mean, that picture is incredible. Actually, it reminds me of, that they have like a monument at the alongside the Danube, the Donau River in Budapest with all of the shoes. Yeah, you know about this, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Symbolism.
But if you look at the image on the top, imagine what the photographer had to gone through to take that photo from that angle. He has been on his stomach, flat down. Why would he or she do a thing like that? And how could he get the yellow plastic cone suit fit exactly like that? Is a real accomplishment to do that. And why? These are just shoes. Wouldn't it be better to focus on the crime itself? But the shoes have been used over and over and over again when it's connected to death. And victims are having one shoe off, two shoes off. They're lying shoes in big piles. Some even rubber boots at the Queen Day massacre alleged massacre in Holland. There was a rubber boot in the street. I mean, a Wellington. How did that even happen? I mean, normally you have to be like two people to get them off. So it's like, why are they there? And so one time I was contacted by another insider, a Freemason, who said the shoes are there because of symbolic value. They show one shoe off shows that the individual is doing it voluntarily, just like in their own ceremonies inside their headquarters and so on. One shoe off, that is a sign of that you're doing it voluntarily. Two shoes off mean homage to the sacred space. That is what he said. So I thought, whoa, okay. That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. So yeah, now I see it. But that also shows that in that case, we're talking about that there's a Freemasonic agenda behind these operations if the shoes appear like that. But then I have a friend who's a CIA whistleblower. He was working for the CIA with Black Ops for many, many years. He was also involved with MK Ultra and so on. And he said that he believes that there's a whole different level to these shoes than I was aware of. He wasn't aware of these shoes either. He was quite shocked when he saw all of these, because I showed like hundreds and hundreds in a presentation. And so he said, I think, that when you turn people into assets through mind control, the way they do it is they break these individuals down. They take people that are very open and easily hypnotized and so on, and they break them down through absolute horror, through torture, through rape, through all kinds of things, very intense pain. And what these agencies have found in these bizarre experiments is that when the pain is too intense, for some reason, I think it's the soul that tries to escape. And what it does, it creates a secondary personality. Like suddenly, bloop, there's another personality. And so what they found out and what they have created a system of is that first they get boom, so that there's at least two personalities. And then what they then need is a trigger so that they can, through a trauma, trigger that person to go into that personality. And then that personality can be accessed and used as an asset to do whatever. And sometimes the first personality doesn't even know what the second have done. It's very weird. And you will see many, many movies, with exactly this happening. So what Cody said, that what they do is when they break someone down, then they have, for instance, every time somebody is being raped, they play the same song, like Mary Had a Little Lamb, or they show a symbol of an upside down dolphin or whatever it is. Because in the end, you only need to show the trigger for this person. As soon as they play the song, the person clicks into that traumatic state, and then boom, you're in that personality, a trigger. And so
and they can actually create many alters, within this.
Whoa. That's how it's done.